What it is, YouTube? It's your boy Dan, man. We back in the trap cooking up another banger, man. Sorry I've been slacking on my book reading, man. Look, but we on chapter 11. Your subconscious mind as a partner in success, man. So basically, your subconscious mind is a partner in your success. So look, if you ain't caught along yet and bought this book on Amazon, that's less than $10. You probably done bought weed, liquor, beer, condoms, all type of shit. But this is what you really need. You slacking in life. But make sure you grab a highlighter, grab a pen so you can underline it, and just dig into this book. Cause hey, I want the money, I want the success, and I want the inner peace. So we finna dive in, bro. So y'all dive in too.
Chapter 11. Your subconscious mind as a partner in success. Success means successful living. A long period of peace, joy, and happiness on this plane may be termed success. The eternal experience of these qualities is the everlasting life spoken of by Jesus. The real things of life, such as peace, harmony, integrity, security, and happiness, are intangible. They come from the deep self of man. Meditating on these qualities builds these treasures of heaven in our subconscious. It is where moth and rust do not consume, and where thieves do not break through and steal. Matthew chapter 6, verse.
Moth and rust do not consume, and where thieves do not break through and steal.
20. The 3 steps to success. Let us discuss 3 steps to success. First step. The first step to success is to find out the thing you love to do, then do it. Success is in loving your work. Although if a man is a psychiatrist, it is not adequate for him to get a diploma and place it on the wall. He must keep.
His money went everywhere. Basically, it goes from the 3 steps to success. The first step to success is to find out the thing you love to do. Then do it. Unless you love your work, you cannot possibly consider yourself successful at it. So if you don't like your job right now, you're not going to be successful in life. You got to find out what you like to do. So we're going to underline that because that's the first step. Okay, the first step to success. Underline the mug right. First step is to find out the thing that you love to do. Then do it. Unless your work is possibly consider yourself successful at it. Unless you love your work, you cannot possibly consider yourself successful at it. Even if all the rest of the world hails you as a great success, loving your work, you have a deep desire to carry it out. If someone is dawned to become a... There we go. Now you can jump down into it.
Keep up with the times, attend conventions, and continue studying the mind and its workings. The successful psychiatrist visits clinics and reads the latest scientific articles. In other words, he is informed in the most advanced methods of alleviating human suffering. The successful psychiatrist or doctor must have the interest of his patients at heart. Someone may say, "How can I put the first step into operation? I do not know what I should do." In such a case, pray for guidance as follows.
Okay, and it's always stepping. The audiobook never matches up to the book. But it said, basically, if you want to be a psychiatrist, you got to go to all the meetings, study, then you got to put your patients first, what he's saying. But what if you, as you read these words, you find yourself thinking, I can't take the first step because I don't know what it is that I want to do? How on earth do I find a field of effort that I love? If that is your situation, pray for guidance in that way. So if you ain't found out what you love to do, like you got a passion, this your hobby, this give you joy, this kills time, you get so much peace out of it, basically pray. Okay.
Infinite intelligence of my subconscious mind reveals to me my true place in life. Repeat this prayer quietly, positively, and lovingly to your deeper mind. As you persist with faith and confidence, the answer will come to you as a feeling, a hunch, or a tendency in a certain direction. It will come to you clearly and in peace, and as an inner silent awareness. Second step. The second step to success is to specialize in some particular branch of work and know more about it than anyone else.
I heard that. The second step to success And when you find out something that you like to do and you doing it, learn everything about it, front and back. Okay, so the second step to success is to specialize in some particular branch of work and strive to excel in it.
For example, if a young man chooses chemistry as his profession, he should concentrate on one of the many branches in this field. He should give all of his time and attention to his chosen specialty. He should become sufficiently enthusiastic to try to know all there is available about his field. If possible, he should know more than anyone else. The young man should become ardently interested in his work and should desire to serve the world. He that is greatest among you, let him become your servant. There is a great contrast in this attitude of mind in comparison to that of the man who only wants to make a living, or just get by. Getting by is not true success. Man's motive must be greater, nobler, and more altruistic. He must serve others, thereby casting his bread upon the waters.
But on page 126 for anybody that's in the book.
Third step. The third step is the most important one. You must be sure that the thing you want to do does not redound to your success only. Your desire must not be selfish. It must benefit humanity.
So the third step is the most important. You must be sure that the thing you want to do does not contribute only to your own success. Your desires must not be selfish. It must benefit humanity. Okay. The path of a complete circuit must be formed. In other words, your idea must go forth with the purpose of blessing or serving the world. Your idea must go forth with the purpose of blessing or serving the world. It will come back to you magnified and full of blessings. Dang. So basically, you got to find out what you love to do, then get good at it and study it and be the best at it. Then third step is, if it's not blessing others, not just you, it got to bless others and humanity. That way you can get it magnified in blessings.
The path of a complete circuit must be formed. In other words, your idea must go forth with the purpose of blessing or serving the world. It will then come back to you pressed down, shaken together, and running over. If it is to benefit yourself exclusively, the circle or complete circuit is not formed, and you may experience a short circuit in your life, which may consist of limitation or sickness. The measure of true success. Some people may say, but Mr. James made a fortune in selling fraudulent oil stock. A man may seem to succeed for a while, but the money he obtained by fraud usually takes wings and flies away. When we rob from another, we rob from ourselves, because we are in a mood of lack and limitation, which may manifest itself in our body, home life, and affairs. What we think and feel, we create. We create what we believe. Even though a man may have accumulated a...
Okay, what we think and feel, we create. We create and what we feel. Even though someone might have accumulated a fortune fondly, he is not successful. There is no success without peace of mind. What good is a person accumulating wealth if he cannot sleep at night and is sick or has a guilt complex? He might got them racks, but nigga can't sleep at night. That's true. We need to underline that. Just because he accumulated a fortune fondly, he is not successful. There is no success without peace of mind.
A fortune fraudulently, he is not successful. There is no success without peace of mind. What good is man's accumulated wealth if he cannot sleep nights, is sick, or has a guilt complex? I knew a man in London who told me of his exploits. He had been a professional pickpocket and had amassed a large amount of money. He had a summer home in France and lived in a royal fashion in England. His story was that he was in constant dread of being arrested by Scotland Yard. He had many inner disorders which were undoubtedly caused by his constant fear and deep-seated guilt complex. He knew he had done wrong. This deep sense of guilt attracted all kinds of trouble to him. Subsequently, he voluntarily surrendered to the police and served a prison sentence.
Jeez.
After his release from prison, he sought psychological and spiritual counsel and became transformed. He went to work and became an honest, law-abiding citizen. He found what he loved to do and was happy. A successful person loves his work and expresses himself fully. Success is contingent upon a higher ideal than the mere accumulation of riches. The man of success is the man who possesses great psychological and spiritual understanding. Many of the great industrialists today depend upon the correct use of their subconscious minds for their success. There was an article published some years ago about Flagler, an oil magnate. He admitted that the secret of his success was his ability to see a project in its completion. For instance, in his case, he closed his eyes, imagined a big oil industry, saw...
Hold on, nigga. It's jumping everywhere. Basically, the ability to see an upcoming project as if it was already completed, having seen and felt fulfillment of their prayers, their subconscious minds bring about their realization. If you can imagine an objective clearly, you can provide... Hold on, let me learn how to read. Having seen and felt the fulfillment of their prayers, the subconscious mind brings about their realization. If you imagine an object clearly, you will be provided with the necessities and the ways you know not of the wonder working power of the subconscious mind. Ooh, that just sounded all, but basically, if you can see it, having seen and felt the fulfillment of your prayers, like you see it, the subconscious mind brings out a realization. If you imagine a objective clearly, you will be provided all the necessary tools and the ways through the wonder working power of the subconscious mind. Basically, your subconscious mind will find all the tools necessary to do what you love to do. I was trying to sum it up because this shit had me thinking.
Trains running on tracks, heard whistles blowing, and saw smoke. Having seen and felt the fulfillment of his prayer, his subconscious mind brought about its realization. If you imagine an objective clearly, you will be provided with the necessities, in ways you know not of, through the wonder-working power of your subconscious mind. In considering the 3 steps to success, you must never forget the underlying power of the creative forces of your subconscious mind. This is the energy in back of all steps in any plan of success. Your thought is creative. Thought fused with feeling becomes a subjective faith or belief.
Okay. Your thought is creative. Thoughts fused with feeling becomes a subjective faith or belief. And according to your belief, it is done unto you.
And according to your belief, is it done unto you. Matthew chapter 9, verse 29. A knowledge of a mighty force in you which is capable of bringing to pass all your desires gives you confidence and a sense of peace. Whatever your field of action may be, you should learn the laws of your subconscious mind. When you know how to apply the powers of your mind, and when you are expressing yourself fully and giving of your talents to others, you are on the sure path to true success. If you are about God's business, or any part of it, God, by his very nature, is for you. So who can be against you? With this understanding, there is no power in heaven or on earth to withhold success from you. How he made his dream come true.
128, yeah.
A movie actor told me that he had very little education, but he had a dream as a boy of becoming a successful movie actor. Out in the field mowing hay, driving the cows home, or even when milking them, he said, I would constantly imagine I saw my name in big lights at a large theater. I kept this up for years, until finally I ran away from home. I got extra jobs in the motion picture field, and the day finally came when I saw my name in great big lights as I did when I was a boy. Then he added, I know the power of sustained imagination to bring success. His dream pharmacy became a reality.
Boy, they just skipping all type of shit. They just skipping all type of words. But basically, we at the next chapter where it say her dream pharmacy became reality. Basically, how his dream was made true. We're gonna break that down on how his dream was made true. All the time he was out in the field working or driving the cows back to the barn, he imagined that he could see his name in big letters on the marquee on the great theater. I saw every detail, the crowds, the fans, the interviews, everything speaking to me. I kept this up for years. Finally, I left home. I came to Los Angeles and got work as the extra in films and TV shows. Before long ago, I got my first starring role. The night of the premiere, I drove to the letters and I almost fainted. There was my name in lights, and there was the crowds and the news reporters, all just as I imagined them as a child. He added, I, more than anyone, understand how the power of the sustained imagination can bring success. Sorry for my words. But basically, y'all want to know how he became an actor when he wanted to become an actor? He imagined it. Every day. It was in his brain. Every day he imagined it. So basically, he pictured the lights. He pictured the cameras. He pictured the crowd. He pictured everything in his head. He made a story in his head that he played in it. So once you get your imagination right, they say you want that brand new car, you have to imagine it. See yourself driving it. See yourself doing anything in it. You want that $1 million check, you have to see it in your head before you can touch it. And that's where I'm trying to learn how to do. That's my biggest flaw. I can't picture none. My imagination is trash. I'm working on it right now. So if you can picture anything that you want in your brain, you got it. You're a step ahead of me.
30 years ago, I knew a young pharmacist who was receiving $40 a week plus commission on sales. After 25 years, he said to me, I will get a pension and retire. I said to this young man, why don't you own your own store? Get out of this place. Raise your sights. Have a dream for your children. Maybe your son wants to be a doctor. Perhaps your daughter desires to be a great musician. His answer was that he had no money. He began to awaken to the fact that whatever he could conceive as true, he could give conception. The first step toward his goal was his awakening to the powers of his subconscious mind, which I briefly elaborated on for his benefit. His second step was his realization that if he could succeed in conveying an idea to his subconscious mind, the latter would somehow bring it to pass. He began to imagine that he was in his own store. He mentally arranged the bottles, dispensed prescriptions, and imagined several clerks in the store waiting on customers. He also visualized a big bank balance. Mentally, he worked in that imaginary store. Like a good actor, he lived the role. Act as though I am, and I will be. This pharmacist put himself wholeheartedly into the act, living, moving, and acting on the assumption that he owned the store. The sequel was interesting. He was discharged from his position. He found new employment with a large chain store, became manager, and later on district manager. He saved enough money in 4 years to provide a down payment on a drugstore of his own. He called it his dream pharmacy. It was, he said, exactly the store I saw in my imagination. He became a recognized success in his chosen field and was happy doing what he loved to do. Using the subconscious mind in business. Some years ago, I gave a lecture to a group of businessmen on the powers of imagination and the subconscious mind. In this lecture, I pointed out how Goethe used his imagination wisely when confronted with difficulties and predicaments. His biographers point out that he was accustomed to fill many hours quietly holding imaginary conversations. It is well known that his custom was to imagine one of his friends before him in a chair, answering him in the right way. In other words, if he were concerned over any problems, he imagined his friend giving him the right or appropriate answer, accompanied with the usual gestures and tonal qualities of the voice, and he made the entire imaginary scene as real and as vivid as possible. One of the men present at this lecture was a young stockbroker. He proceeded to adopt the technique of Goethe. He began to have mental, imaginary conversations with a multi-millionaire banker friend of his, who used to congratulate him on his wise and sound judgment,
Man,
and
where
compliment
the fuck these boys at? The fact we went from the goddamn. I hate when this motherfucker ain't word to word, bro. Okay, we did the actor, then the dream pharmacist. God damn, bro.
him on his purchase of the right stocks. He used to dramatize this imaginary conversation
I guess we're gonna read until we catch up to the basically a boy of 16 to Philly. Basically, her dream pharmacy became a reality. Some years ago, I got into a young pharmacist named Mary S. She worked in the prescription department of a big chain drugstore. One day, while she was filing a prescription for me, we started talking. I asked her how she liked her job. Oh, it's fine, she said. Between my salary and commissions, I do okay, and the company has a good profit sharing program. With any luck, I'll be able to retire while I'm still young and enjoy enough to enjoy life. I was silent for a moment. Then I asked, was that the way you thought it would be as a child when you decided you wanted to be a pharmacist? Her face grew troubled. Well, no, she replied. I guess not. I always saw myself with my own store. I wanted to walk down the street and have people say hello to me and call me by my name, and I know all their names because I was their druggist. You're going to think this is strange, but I even dreamed about having parents call me in the middle of the night because their kid was sick. I put my clothes on over my pajamas and go down to the store and get them their medicine they needed. Not much like a 9 to 5 behind a counter at the back of the end of a big store it is. It certainly isn't, I said, but why shouldn't you follow your dream? Wouldn't you be happier and more productive? Raise your sights. Get out this place. Start your own store. How can I? She said, shaking her head. That takes big money, and we're just getting from month to month. We're just getting by from month to month. My response was to share with her a wonderful fact. Whatever she could convince is true, she could bring into being. So, that nigga preached to her. He's like, baby, what you want to do with your life? He said, basically, my response to her, she was out there talking about money and all that, complaining about money. What about you have your own store? She's like, I ain't got the money, right? Then the dude was like, my response was to share with her a wonderful fact. Whatever she could conceive as true, she could bring into being. I went on to tell her something about the power of the subconscious mind. She soon understood that if she could succeed in impregnating her subconscious mind with a clear and specific idea, those powers will somehow bring it to pass. She began to imagine that she was in her own store. She mentally arranged the bottles, dispensing the prescription, and imagined waiting on customers who were also her neighbors and friends. She also visualized a big bank account. Mentally, she worked in that imaginary store like a good actor. She lived the role. Act as though I am and I will be. Woohoo! Act as though I am and I will be. She put herself wholeheartedly into the act, living, moving, and acting on the assumptions that she owned the store. 7 years later, Mary wrote me to say what had happened to her life since our conversation. The chain store she worked for went under because of competition from a large store at a new mall. She found a job as a traveling representative for a major drug company, handling a territory that covered several states. One day, her work took her to a small town on the western edge of her territory. There was only one drugstore in town. She had never been there before, but the moment she walked in, she recognized it as exactly the store she visualized, and she clearly had in her imagination. So basically, the store Mary worked at closed down, right? 7 years later, She became a traveling representative for a major drug company. I don't know how the hell she became that, but she found a job traveling for a major drug company, handling a territory that covered several states. One day, her work took her to a small town on the western edge of her spot where she was working at. There was one drugstore in town she had never been before, but the moment she walked in, she recognized it because she visualized the store so clearly in her imagination. Flabbergasted, she told the elder owner of the drugstore about the amazing coincidence, and turned the owner confided that he was about to ready to retire. Did not want to sell his store that had been in the family for generations, 3 generations, to some big corporation. After several decisions, the owner offered to lend her the money to buy the store. The person selling the store gave you the money for that? After several discussions, the owner offered to lend her the money to buy the store. She would be able to make the payments on the loan out of the profits of the business. The young woman moved her family to the town and soon was able to make a down payment on a big old house within walking distance of the store. Now when she walks to work in the morning, everyone she passes says hello and calls her by her name. They know her because she is the druggist. Ooh. That's cold, bro. So look, gotta get your imagination together, bro. You ain't got this, it's over with, bro. Using the subconscious mind in business. Some years ago, I gave a lecture to a group of business executives on the power of imaginations and the subconscious mind. In the course of the lecture, I described how the great German poet, I don't know what that nigga name is, used his imagination wisely when confronted with difficulties and predicaments. According to, I don't know that dude's name, biographies, he was accustomed to filling many hours quietly holding imaginary conversations. He would imagine one of his friends sitting across from him, answering him in the right way. In other words, if he were concerned over any problems, he imagined his friend giving him the right or appropriate answer. Let me see if we caught up yet.
Until he had psychologically fixed it as a form of belief in his mind. This broker's inner talking and
Hell no, we ain't know. We on something else. Let me see where this boy at, man. Alright, we gotta just take this right. Cause I don't know where it's running at.
tonal qualities of the voice, and he made the entire imaginary scene tonal qualities of the voice. His dream pharmacy became a reality.
There's a woman talking about her dream pharmacy, so they got it all mixed up. It's like his dream pharmacy, it's actually a female in this book. So that's what we just read. She just got that little town loan from the dude that owned it. So that's where we at right now.
30 years ago, I knew a young pharmacist who was receiving $40 a week plus commission on sales. After 25 years, he said to me, I will get a pension and
now,
retire.
Y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. I ain't the
I
best
said to
reader,
this
but I'm
young
trying.
man, why don't you own your own store? Get out of this place. Raise your sights. Have a dream for your children. Maybe your son wants to be a doctor. Perhaps your daughter desires to be a great musician.
That's
His
on page
answer was that he
128,
had no money. He began to awaken to the fact that whatever he could conceive as true, he could give conception. The first step toward his goal was his awakening to the powers of his subconscious mind, which I briefly elaborated on for his benefit. His second step was his realization that if he could succeed in conveying an idea to his subconscious mind, the latter would somehow bring it to pass. He began to imagine that he was in his own store. He mentally arranged the bottles, dispensed prescriptions, and imagined several clerks in the store waiting on customers. He also visualized a big bank balance. Mentally, he worked in that imaginary store. Like a good actor, he lived the role. Act as though I am, and I will be. This pharmacist put himself wholeheartedly into the act, living, moving, and acting on the assumption that he owned the store. The sequel was interesting. He was discharged from his position. He found new employment with a large chain store, became manager, and later on district manager. He saved enough money in 4 years to provide a down payment on a drugstore of his own. He called it...
So basically, this book all over the place. It's not about a dude, it's about a chick. But we're going to keep it going.
His dream pharmacy. It was, he said, exactly the store I saw in my imagination. He became a recognized success in his chosen field and was happy doing what he loved to do, using the subconscious mind in business. Some years ago, I gave a lecture to a group of businessmen on the powers of imagination and the subconscious mind. In this lecture, I pointed out how Goethe used his imagination wisely when confronted with difficulties and predicaments. His biographers point out that...
So basically, we on using the subconscious mind in business. So it's stripped from the girl having her own store to it's stripped to using the subconscious mind in business on page 130. I got it. I'm caught up now. Come on.
That he was accustomed to fill many hours quietly holding imaginary conversations. It is well known that his custom was to imagine one of his friends before him in a chair, answering him in the right way. In other words, if he were concerned over any problems, he imagined his friend giving him the right or appropriate answer, accompanied with the usual gestures and tonal qualities of the voice, and he made the entire imaginary scene as real and as vivid as possible. One of the men present at this lecture was a young stockbroker. He proceeded to adopt the technique of Goethe. He began to have mental, imaginary conversations with a multi-millionaire banker friend of his, who used to congratulate him on his wise and sound judgment, and compliment him on his purchase of the right stocks. He used to dramatize this imaginary conversation until he had psychologically fixed it as a form of belief in his mind. This broker's inner talking and controlled imagination certainly agreed with his aim, which was to make sound investments for his clients. His main purpose in life was to make money for his clients and to see them prosper financially by his wise counsel. He is still using his subconscious mind in his business, and he is a brilliant success in his field of endeavor. Boy of 16 years turns failure into success. A young boy who was attending high school said to me, "I'm getting very poor grades. My memory is failing. I do not know what is the matter." I discovered that the only thing wrong with this boy was his attitude, which was one of indifference and resentment towards some of his teachers and fellow students. I taught him how to use his subconscious mind and how to succeed in his studies. He began to affirm certain truths several times a day, particularly at night prior to sleep, and also in the morning after awakening. These are the best times to impregnate the subconscious mind.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah, this book all over the goddamn place. Basically, the 6-year-old Tom M told me, I'm failing everything. I don't know why. I guess I'm just stupid. Maybe I better drop out of school before they flunk me. As we talked further, I discovered that the only thing wrong with Todd was his attitude. He felt indifferent towards his students. Learn how to talk, Devin. He felt indifferent towards his studies and resentful towards some of his teachers and fellow students. I taught him how to use his subconscious mind to succeed in studies. He began to affirm certain truths 7 times a day. He began to affirm certain truths several times a day, particularly at night and just prior to sleep, first thing after waking up in the morning. As we have seen, these are the best times to impregnate the mind. Shit. He affirmed as follows: I realized that my subconscious mind is a storehouse of memory. It retains everything I read and hear from my teachers. I have a perfect memory at my disposal. If I choose to use it, the infinite intelligence of my subconscious mind constantly reveals to me everything I need to know. All of my examinations, whether written or oral, I radiate love and goodwill to all my teachers and fellow students. I sincerely wish for the success and all good things. So that was his affirmation that he was repeating every night.
He affirmed as follows: I realize that my subconscious mind is a storehouse of memory. It retains everything I read and hear from my teachers. I have a perfect memory, and the infinite intelligence in my subconscious mind constantly reveals to me everything I need to know at all my examinations, whether written or oral. I radiate love and goodwill to all my teachers and fellow students. I sincerely wish for them success and all good things.
Okay.
This young man is now enjoying a greater freedom than he has ever known. He is now receiving all A's. He constantly imagines the teachers and his mother congratulating him on his success in his studies. How to become successful in buying and selling. In buying and selling, remember that your conscious mind is the starter, and your subconscious mind is the motor. You must start the motor to enable it to perform its work. Your conscious mind is the dynamo that awakens the power of your subconscious mind. The first step in conveying your clarified desire, idea, or image to the deeper mind is to relax, immobilize the attention, get still, and be quiet. This quiet, relaxed, and peaceful attitude of mind.
That's hard to do. So the first step in conveying your clarified desire or idea or imagine to the deeper mind is to relax. Immobilize the attention and get still and be quiet. This quiet, relaxed, and peaceful attitude of mind prevents
extraneous matter and false ideas from interfering with your mental absorption of your ideal. Furthermore, in the quiet, passive, and receptive attitude of mind, effort is reduced to a minimum. The second step is to begin to imagine the reality of that which you desire. For example, you may wish to buy a home, and in your relaxed state of mind affirm as follows: The infinite intelligence of my subconscious mind is all-wise. It reveals to me now the ideal home, which is central, ideal, is in a lovely environment, meets with all my requirements, and is commensurate with my income. I am now turning this request over to my subconscious mind, and I know it responds according to the nature of my request. I release this request with absolute faith and confidence in the same way that a farmer deposits a seed in the ground, trusting implicitly in the laws of growth. The answer to your prayer may come through an advertisement in the paper, through a friend, or you may be guided directly to a particular home which is exactly what you are seeking. There are many ways by which your prayer may be answered. The principal knowledge in which you may place your confidence is that the answer always comes, provided you trust the working of your deeper mind. You may wish to sell a home, land, or any kind of property. In private consultation with real estate brokers, I have told them of the way I sold my own home on Orlando Avenue in Los Angeles. Many of them have applied the technique I used with remarkable and speedy results. I placed a sign which read "For sale by owner" in the garden in front of my home. The day after, I said to myself as I was going to sleep, "Supposing you sold your house, what would you do?" I answered my own question, and I said I would take the sign down and throw it into the garage. In my imagination, I took hold of the sign, pulled it up from the ground, placed it on my shoulder, went to the garage, threw it on the floor, and said jokingly to the sign, "I don't need you anymore." I felt the inner satisfaction of it all, realizing it was finished. The next day, a man gave me a deposit of $1,000 and said to me, "Take your sign down. We'll go into escrow now." Immediately, I pulled the sign up and took it to the garage. The outer action conformed to the inner. There is nothing new about this. As within, so without. Meaning, according to the image impressed on your subconscious mind, so it is on the objective screen of your life. The outside mirrors the inside. External action follows internal action. Here's another very popular method used in selling homes, land, or any kind of property. Affirm slowly, quietly, and feelingly as follows. Quote, "Infinite intelligence attracts to me the buyer for this home who wants it and who prospers in it. This buyer is being sent to me by the creative intelligence of my subconscious mind, which makes no mistakes. This buyer may look at many other homes, but mine is the only one he wants and will buy, because he is guided by the infinite intelligence within him. I know the buyer is right, the time is right, and the price is right. Everything about it is right. The deeper currents of my subconscious mind are now in operation, bringing both of us together in divine order.
Okay.
I know that it is so." Unquote. Remember always that what you are seeking is also seeking you.
I ain't never seen that one right there. Remember, always what you are seeking is seeking you too.
And whenever you want to sell a home or property of any kind, there is always someone who wants what you have to offer. By using the powers of your subconscious mind correctly, you free your mind of all sense of competition and anxiety in buying and selling. How she succeeded in getting what she wanted. There is a young lady who regularly comes to my lectures and classes. She had to change buses 3 times. It took her 1.5 hours each time to come to the lectures. In one lecture, I explained how a young man who needed a car in his work received one. She went home and experimented as outlined in my lecture. Here is her letter in part, narrating her application of my method and published by her permission. "Dear Dr. Murphy, this is how I received a Cadillac car. I wanted one to come to the lectures regularly. In my imagination, I went through the identical process I would go through if I were actually driving a car. I went to the showroom, and the salesman took me for a ride in one. I also drove it several blocks. I claimed the Cadillac car as my own over and over again. I kept the mental picture of getting into the car, driving it, feeling the upholstery."
I might need to do that because I was trying to get that new BMW X6M competition. Ooh, I'm over here falling asleep too. I need to hurry up and meditate. "I kept the mental picture of getting into the car and driving it, feeling the upholstery, and so on consistently for over 2 weeks,"
etc., consistently over 2 weeks. Last week, I drove to your lectures in a Cadillac. My uncle in Inglewood passed away and left me his Cadillac and his entire estate.
Jeez, I sort of been dreaming about this Cadillac, how she gonna cash out on it, and she ain't about to pay for it. Her uncle gave her a Cadillac.
A success technique employed by many outstanding executives and businessmen. There are many prominent businessmen who quietly use the abstract term success over and over many times a day until they reach a conviction that success is theirs. They know that the idea of success contains all the essential elements of success. Likewise, you can begin now to repeat the word success to yourself with faith and conviction.
You can now begin to repeat the word success to yourself with faith and conviction. Your subconscious mind will accept that it's true, and you will be under a subconscious conclusion to succeed.
Your subconscious mind will accept it as true of you, and you will be under a subconscious compulsion to succeed. You are compelled to express your subjective beliefs, impressions, and convictions. What does success imply to you? You want undoubtedly to be successful in your home life and in your relationship with others. You wish to be outstanding in your chosen work or profession. You wish to possess a beautiful home and all the money you need to live comfortably and happily.
Facts.
You want to be successful in your prayer life and in your contact with the powers of your subconscious mind.
Right.
You are a businessman also because you are in the business of living. Become a successful businessman by imagining yourself doing what you long to do and possessing.
Okay, become a successful executive by imagining yourself doing what you long to do and possessing the things you long to possess. Become imaginative, mentally participate in the reality of successful state.
The things you long to possess. Become imaginative. Mentally participate in the reality of the successful state. Make a habit of it. Go to sleep feeling successful every night and perfectly satisfied, and you will eventually succeed in implanting the idea of success in your subconscious mind. Believe you were born to succeed, and wonders will happen as you pray. Profitable pointers. 1. Success means successful living. When you are peaceful, happy, joyous, and doing what you love to do, you are successful.
Okay.
2.
Okay. When you are peaceful, happy, and joyous, and doing what you love to do, you are successful.
Find out what you love to do, then do it. If you don't know your true expression, ask for guidance and the lead will come. 3. Specialize in your particular field and try to know more about it than anyone else. 4. A successful man is not selfish. His main desire in life is to serve humanity. 5. There is no true success without peace of mind. 6. A successful man possesses great psychological and spiritual understanding. 7. If you imagine an objective clearly, you will be provided with the necessities through the wonder-working power of your subconscious mind. 8. Your thought fused with feeling becomes a subjective belief. And,
So, thought fused with feeling becomes a subjective belief.
According to your belief, is it done unto you. 9. The power of sustained imagination draws forth the miracle-working powers of your subconscious mind. 10. If you are seeking promotion in your work, imagine your employer, supervisor, or loved one congratulating you on your promotion. Make the picture vivid and real. Hear the voice, see the gestures, and feel the reality of it all. Continue to do this frequently. And through frequent occupancy of your mind, you will experience the joy of the answered prayer. 11. Your subconscious mind is a storehouse of memory. For a perfect memory, affirm frequently, the infinite intelligence of my subconscious mind reveals to me everything I need to know at all times.
I got my memory at the best season, so basically, the infinite intelligence of my subconscious mind reveals to me everything I need to know all the time and everywhere.
Times everywhere. 12. If you wish to sell a home or property of any kind, affirm slowly, quietly, and feelingly as follows. Infinite intelligence attracts me to the buyer for this house or property, who wants it, and who prospers in it. Sustain this awareness, and the deeper currents of your subconscious mind will bring it to pass. 13. The idea of success contains all the elements of success. Repeat the word success to yourself frequently with faith and conviction, and you will be under a subconscious compulsion to succeed.
Repeat the word success to yourself frequently with faith and conviction, and you will be under a subconscious compulsion to succeed.
Chapter 12.
I'm tired. I gotta meditate before I go to bed. Plus, I gotta get the oil changed before it's too late. So I've been driving that car like a motherfucker. So that's chapter 11. Let me know y'all favorite quotes on chapter 11. If I can go back and see if I can grab some. Basically, chapter 11, the first step to success is find out what you love to do. Then do it. You're not successful until you love what you're doing. 2, get good at it. Study it. Learn it front and back. Number 3, it gotta help people. It can't just help you. It gotta help everybody. So that's the 3 steps to success. Then you over there looking at old boy, you think he rich as hell because he out here snamming, he had a Lexi selling drugs. But he ain't got no peace of mind, so he's not really successful. That hit different. Then what's another one? Then whatever you convince yourself is true, it's true. Then act though I am, and it will be. Then the thing with affirmation, I don't even do this. You have to affirm something that you want 7 times a day. So if you want, goddamn, that raise at work, you got to be thinking about it. Not once a day, several times a day. I am wealthy. I am successful. I want that. Like me, I want this new BMW S6, but I'm not really thinking about it. Like, it's my phone string. Let me see. I won't get y'all out of my business. I ain't gonna say that. But That's my dream car. It's on my thing. So I'm looking at it every day. It's sexy, ain't it? Let me get it out so I can show y'all. So basically, you gotta be obsessed with it, bro. Let me see if I can. Now, ugly little notifications. You see, that's my dream car. That's what I want to pull up in. So I gotta do this shit every day, which I don't do it every day, but I look at my phone every day and I see it every day. And since I've been seeing this every day, I see more of these every day. Facts. If it ain't the X6, it's the X5. If it ain't the X5, it's the X4. I'm seeing Beamers every fucking day. Excuse my language. Sorry for falling asleep on her half the time, but I gotta hit my sleepy state so I can meditate. So that was chapter 11. I'm gonna hit chapter 12 tomorrow. I'm gonna do a chapter every day. That's what I've been doing. Sorry, I've been falling off. Shit, we back on it. Hit the like button, comment down below. 3 strikes of fan. I'm gonna see you on the next video.